Welcome to another episode of r/Ascredit. What is an odd behavior of yours you think only you do? My dog and I have arguments when he barks. He will hear someone in our hallway outside and start barking every time. I tell him shhhh, and he barks again slightly less loudly this time. This continues until I can barely hear him, but he has to get the last word in. Drives me up the wall. I hold my breath when someone walks by in a confined space because I don't want to breathe their essence in. IDK. My hands being wet makes me angry. I'm not a confrontational aggressive person, but if my hands were wet and someone came at me, I'd be probably 4x more likely to be aggressive back at them. When a page is taking a long time to load on my laptop, I rotate my index finger clockwise and it makes me feel like it makes the page load faster. I get weird compulsions that I need to touch between my pinky fingers or touch my armpit. It's more like a tickling sensation that builds until I have to relieve it by touching it. I have no idea what causes this, and I haven't heard of anyone else that has to do this. Maybe some form of mild OCD? Edit. Frequency of the sensation is constant. Every few seconds. Though I feel the intensity of the feeling comes in waves. When I wake up for work, sometimes I have the good chills about certain things, like the AC console in my car might look like a cockpit and it sends good chills down my spine. It's like the time before I have to be at work is a cozy little mini time. There is no way in hell I can explain this in words. I have always called it the morning weird. Man, I hope there is someone else out there that knows what I'm talking about. Every time I bend over to pick something up, I pretend I just unknowingly dodged a bullet from some faraway sniper trying to take me out. Sometimes I shoot fingers guns for no reason. Stop dodging. I have noticed I often sniff when I enter a room so I don't scare people by just talking out of nowhere. Your friends probably think you've got a crippling cocaine habit. Sometimes I wonder if there's actually people who can see into your mind. So I start thinking about really interesting things, so if there is, they won't think I'm boring. I scream as loud as I can, mentally, and think of really ducked up shit. If they look uncomfortable after that, I then know that they can. I'll sometimes do the Homer Simpson bit. I know you can read my thoughts, boy. Meow 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 meow, and if there's no reaction I feel safer, haha. Sometimes when I'm listening to music I play a game where I tap my fingers to the syllables. If the sentence ends at the pinky or the thumb, I win. If not, I must continue until it ends up at one of them. I make sure to make a splash noise when I pee to make sure I'm not sleeping and pissing the bed. It kinda weird, but I like to rub my feet against each other under the covers. It calms me down and helps me fall asleep. I do this, but unconsciously. I say things to myself to break a train of thought, like I love you or I am sorry or you got this, just to keep myself going on the right path. Probably be weird if someone walked in on me trying to motivate myself out loud. Using random number generator apps to dictate how I set my daily to-do lists. When I can't decide between two things, I assign them random numbers, like 68 and 14, or call them left and right, and have someone pick one over the other. Whatever they choose, I go for that thing. When I'm alone I use RNG or coin instead, so not exactly, but same idea I suppose. In the shower, I slowly rotate to keep myself evenly warm. I do it unconsciously now, like a rotisserie chicken. Shake my butt when I'm lying in bed. Hey, you should meet my roommate. I wake up every morning to him just fast asleep but vigorously shaking his butt. I wiggle my right foot really fast when I'm falling asleep. Never be lonely anymore. I have found my sisters and brothers. I rub the tip of my nose and after a while it starts to feel really nice and I get a mild sensation not unlike an orgasm. So now I've been rubbing my nose for longer than I'd like to admit. My first time visiting a sex toy shop, they had a little table where you could bring a toy you wanted to try. The employee would put batteries in it and have you try the settings against your nose. Apparently if it's too strong for your nose, it's too strong for your genitals. Yeah, but how do you fit it in your nostrils in the first place? Determination. Talking to myself in gibberish when I'm doing something as though I were explaining what I'm doing. I imagined a guy doing the dishes and talking like someone from The Sims. Laughed my ass off. So. My alarm is set to 7 am. I can't remember when I last heard it go off, because I wake up at around 6:15 and spend some time on my phone before unsetting my alarm and getting in the shower before 7 am. My alarm is set to 7 am. I can't remember when I last heard it go off, because I wake up at around 7:30. How does it feel to have your life so together? Well, I do have a bowl in my living room filled with lemons and limes. Sometimes when I get bored, I explain modern things to Benjamin Franklin, music I listen to, or how my phone works, etc. Sometimes I go even further back and explain it to Socrates or a caveman. Sometimes it's philosophical, sometimes it's just stupid. I don't know why I do it, but it's very entertaining. Edit. Well, today I learned this isn't that strange. A lot of people do it, and many of them specifically choose Benjamin Franklin as their time traveler of choice. Sometimes I spell a word in my head over and over until it seems like nonsense. It's called semantic satiation. Each day when I come home from work, I say to my cat Bruce Wayne, "Hi, honey, I'm home. Did you do your taxes? Or what? You did your taxes." In my head, if my cat were a person, he'd be a tax accountant or something. When I'm watching a movie or TV series and something bad happens to a character I really like, I can't handle him being sad or distraught, so I stop watching it. It's a real problem. I have to force myself to continue, because if I wouldn't watch anything until the end. It's been like this since I was a kid. I can't watch sitcoms or other awkward drama shows. I put myself in the show, not as a character. Just like I'm watching it happen IRL or something. I am firmly aware it's a show and that I'm not there and it's not here. And I can't stand those awkward moments. And most sitcoms are built around that. I'm very picky about what I watch. LOL. Not the same as yours, but it feels like a cousin to it somehow. I make weird noises and gestures when I think no one else is home. When at the library or bookstore, I sometime open a book I know I will read at some point, but not right now, and read a random line at a random page. Then, maybe years later, I will read the book, and when I get to that line that I have forgotten all about and get the most powerful feeling of deja vu, I will remember what the world felt like, smelled like, the sensations and feelings I had while reading that line. It's like little gifts of memories to future me floating around in various books. That's beautiful. As someone who gets a lot of deja vu, I want to try this. I hear noises in multiples of 8. Not that I hear any sound 8 times, but if there's a noise that repeats a bunch of times, I hear it in my head again and count it, using 8s. Are you a musician? Being stuck in 4/4 times so often, it would make sense. Whoa, you guys, I never thought of it as being 4/4 time, but it probably is. Now I feel dumb. LOL. I did used to write music, and I have years of piano and voice training. So yeah, Reddit, we did IT. I blow on my ice cream. To cool it off. I'm not really sure. I wasn't even aware I was doing something weird until my GF noticed and said, "You know that's not hot, right?" Brain. I got this. Food very temperature. I learned from soup. Edit. Obligatory thank for silvers and gold. Unfortunately, this comment be unoriginal. I just remember laughing way too hard when I saw this the first time. I just wanted to spread the joy. Close bracket. I give objects itches, aka I scratch it for them because they look itchy. I like that. I make a valley out of pillows and blankets and sleep in the middle so I can koala hug something while laying on either side. Edit. Thank you all for the awards and attention. I absolutely love the wholesome conversations about pets and pillows that unfolds below. Habit that I've had since childhood. I play with my ears, especially when they're cold. I fold them and scrunch them and can fit them into the ear canal until they unfold and pop back into form. Edit. Obligatory exaltations of gratitude and thanksgiving to the kindness of the anonymous fellow ears absent-mindedly scrunched and stuffed into the canal stuffers redditors for the heretofore elusive golden and silvery goodness. Shout out to all of my brother and sister weirdness and the earfolder subreddit created for us oral aberrations of the humankind. I had no idea I was not alone. Cheers. Finally, one that I can relate to. I'll occasionally reread sections of a book where nothing much happens, but the characters are just chilling. It's almost like visiting friends. One of my favorite parts in all of the Harry Potter series is when Harry gets 2 weeks alone in Diagon Alley in Prisoner. Nothing happens. Just wish I could experience that myself. I walk fast when it's a crowded place. I use hand gestures whenever another person gets in my way to tell them where I will go. Like I point to the left and they automatically move to the right without any awkwardness. It works more often than I expected. People tend to follow such unexpected gestures unconsciously. Humans need blinker lights. Hopefully they add in V2. Nobody would use them. I tap every time a dashed line goes past the car. It's like a perpetual game of Guitar Hero. Yay, but do you use the invisible saw extending from your finger to cut down telephone poles when you're in the passenger seat? Mine's a laser beam. Mine's a broadsword that cuts everything down. Mine's a little stick dude that parkers next to the car. I do the same thing. I always thought it was a Tourette's thing, but either it's not, or all you guys should see a neurologist. In my head I make a plan to rob any business I enter. I make note of security, cameras, employees. I think about what part of town I'm in and try to estimate what the police response time would be and possible escape routes and so on. I'd never do it, of course. It's just a mental exercise. I made the mistake of telling my wife about it, and now when we go out she notices and tracks my eyes and says, "Stop that. You're so weird. LOL. Edit. Thank you for my first and second ever silver." I couldn't possibly reply to everyone, so I'll just answer a few of the questions I've seen here. I'm not in security or anything security related. I'm in landscaping, lawn care and snow removal, but mostly in the setting of the shop and the office. I don't go out on jobs anymore. My childhood was fine. Maybe a bit on the rough side. I had a group of friends that we were essentially a gang for self-protection, but we didn't get into anything more serious than selling a little grass and a few fist fights. And no, as far as I know I am not an amnesia-stricken super assassin. LOL. I throw up gang signs at my dog. Don't know why it started, but I get a laugh out of it and my dog just likes the attention. Edit. Wow, this blew up. My dog says, "What's brackin' blood?" I sing with my cat and he responds when I pause. Somebody once told me the world is gonna meow. I ain't the sharpest tool in the meow. I find it hilarious he also likes the attention. I have to blink an even number of times, and most of the time that's not enough. I have to stop what I'm doing to keep on blinking until my mind is pleased with the right amount of even times I've blinked. Sounds like hell. There are times I wanna freak the duck out because I just wanna stop but never do. What you're describing is a very common symptom of obsessive compulsive disorder. They are called rituals. If I accidentally hit my head or something when I was little, I'd pretend to be knocked out for at least 10 minutes on the floor and then slowly get up when I'd realize nobody was going to indulge my dramatic ass. Drama queen. You first. I count the toilet paper squares, ensuring there's exactly 4 or 8 before I tear it off to wipe. I usually tear 3. I guess this means we are enemies now. Just before I'm about to write, sometimes I'll do this little circle thing in the air above the paper, like I'm revving the pen up before I use it. Edit. This is by far the most replies I've ever gotten on a single comment. Safe to say I'm not the only one, LOL. Also shout out to you /devious blonde for telling me the name of this little practice. Enso. NM Wikipedia org link. I discreetly wave my right hand when I'm in front of sliding doors like a Jedi Knight to open them. I also do this sometimes if I'm feeling a little flamboyant. I snap my fingers at the door like I'm Fonzie. I try to time it so I can almost convince myself that it's an actual power. Whoa, you made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content. It's free and that's a great price.